fantastic aquarium filter from Weipro. Let's take a look at it. Okie dokie, so Weipro. Haven't really heard about these a lot. I done a video a little while back on a filter that had multicoloured sponges, blah blah blah, and most of the problems were with the coloured sponges, to be fair. So this one is normal black, so there's no real detail on the box. So let's get it open, have a look. I do like the packaging with Weipro. Now they're all made in the same place, I believe, in China. You get the obligatory instruction manual, which is great, and that's about it. But look at the size of that thing. I mean, that's my hand. Let's put this down. That's my hand. So that's huge. Let's go and get a tape measure and see how big this thing is. Okay, so from top to bottom, it is exactly, I would say, 29 centimeters. So you're going to need a tank which has got another at least 2 centimeters on there, maybe 3. So you're going to need at least a foot deep, or 21 centimeters, I reckon, to make this work. They don't recommend to run it on its side, which makes sense because of this. Oh, here we've still got some details here. So this is a 10 watt system, which is okay. I'll put some details in it. I think it's 600 litres an hour though. You've got an adjuster. Well, the adjuster's a lot better than the old one. Remember the one on the thing? We've got some bits and pieces here as well. Let's have a look. Okay, so fairly straightforward nozzle. This is not really directional though, is it? You can't direct that from anywhere from straight, so that's a bit of a pain. And that, okay, it doesn't really work well, to be honest. If that's going there, well, we'll test it out anyway. Okay, we'll test it out anyway. Okay, so here we go. So the multicoloured sponges are actually inside. Let's have a look at the head. But that's good. Look, see, it's got grating on it. So the top one we can fill with media. Okay, so that means that you can seed this filter straight away out of the box, which is fantastic. So basically, get rid of that. You're going to run it like this. Okay, I mean, you can put it anyway because that bit comes off as well. Or does it? No, it doesn't. Must do for cleaning. Anyway, we'll have a look at that later. Yeah, so you're going to run it. Let's put these back together. God, they're stiff. There you go. And then I'm going to put that one in and put loads of media in. So if you've got a filter already that's got media in it, you literally pop that in there. Filter's ready to go. And you don't need to worry about recycling your tank, which is excellent. Quite a strong plastic. So basically the water comes in through the bottom and goes through all of these and then goes out through that and returns back to the tank. I'm going to pop that in there for the minute because obviously when we do the test it has it set up. There's actually a bit of room there, so you could put a fine pad over that if you wanted to. Trouble is with fine pads, you see, they do tend to clog everything up because they stop the water flow, which we'll test later on anyway. Bit of airline. We're not going to bother with this at the moment, but does this work? Let's have a look. Yep, you can use it to shut it completely down. That is a huge unit, and I don't think it's going to fit in my sink, but okay. 600 litres an hour. Okay, well, I think it's time to get it wet. Okay, so one of the issues that the other one had was the aesthetics, the different colours. That doesn't look too bad, doesn't look out of place. I mean, you put it at the back of the tank, you wouldn't even know it was there. This is a Roma 200, okay? And that's just about, let's put it down in the tank a bit more. Okay, so that's where I would have it positioned. Now, obviously, you can't direct the water too much. You've only got that little nozzle. It's sitting quite high. That's about where you want a filter. Don't want it right down the bottom, it'll just block up really quickly. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to test the flow now. Let's see how she performs, see what the noise levels are like. And this is a 610 watt, which is 10 watts is a lot in my opinion for 600, but if it does the job, it does the job. And obviously you've got the flow director on there as well. Okay, let's have a check. Times like this, I need a tank just sitting on the side, just full of water, to test it, because this was so tall I couldn't even get it in there. So I've had to do it like this. They don't recommend to run them like this, but I've done this for a reason. Now, two things I've noticed, okay, and I want to show you this first before we even test the flow or anything else. This is sitting right next to the tank, yeah? Now, when this was sitting upright, it was vibrating quite badly, okay? So Weipro, you need to put a rubber bung there, or better still, put a suction cup. If you put one there, it wouldn't have this issue. So, right there. Okay, so let's turn it on. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Look how much that's moving the water. Now there is, let me get that out of the way. If I move this, it does give you a little bit of direction. I don't know if you can see that in the water, but not much. Okay, and this, if I turn this, it really does adjust the water down. See that? And high. Oh, which I think is quite cool. Do you remember that vibration? Can you hear that? If I move this off, look. Gone. Hear it? Gone. So that's where your vibration's coming from. It really is moving a lot, but there's no actual noise from the motor as such. Hear this, listen. Nothing, not a bean. And it really is moving some water around. So I think this has got to be worth the money. It really has. There's a few little moulding issues, and as I say, I wouldn't have it set up the way they got it set up in here. But it don't look too bad. So I'm really impressed with this. For the price, it's worth it. And as I say, if you could put something, a bit of sponge maybe. It is virtually silent. Okay, let's get to the pros and cons. Pros and cons. Okay, the pros I'm going to do first. The pros are the construction. It is solid. I mean, really solid. These click together really strong and well. Easy accessibility to the prop, which is good, or the impeller. And I think there's probably some options there to make it a little bit better. So obviously these fins and that will help, but you can put media in it, which is always a bonus. Media is very important. You know, you can do it through sponge, but media is more important to be fair. I like it. I really do like this system. Okay, the only cons I can see, first of all, that should be a swivel. That nozzle should move. Especially when it's this size, because you're going to want to put this at the back of the tank really. You don't want it sticking out the front. There should be at least one down here. You know, how much would it cost to manufacture a little one of these units with that down there? I mean, it wouldn't cost you anything really, would it? And again, this nozzle should move. This is good. Okay, so will I buy one of these? Well, I bought this one. This one was going into a hospital tank. I used it for, I don't know, it must have been 10 days. Had no issues with it. I will like to check the longevity and also spares. If you know, this is a bit poo. I don't like this. That just isn't doing anything for me. But anyway, spares. I couldn't find where you can get spares for these. I'm going to try harder and get in contact with some of my contacts in the business and see if they can find anything. But okay, so it gets my thumbs up. I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, please subscribe. It costs you nothing, but it really helps the channel to grow. Gets me out there, at least talk to other people. And if you've got any ideas for videos, drop me a line. Guys, take care. Have a great day.